I'm Hugh Taylor. I was born in 1966 in Hove, which is joined to the city we're now in.
It is indeed. And did you spend your childhood in Hove?
Yes, I did, mostly, yes. In fact, almost entirely.
So when you were growing up, did you have a teddy bear?
I did, although I can't remember the name of it, and I really promise I can't. That sounds ludicrous, but I can't. I can describe it, and that might come to me, but I can't remember the name of it. Would you like me to describe it? Okay, it was a, let's say for the sake of argument, it was a female cat in a very flat shape, about 12 inches in height. So it was not rounded how you might expect teddy bears to. It was like someone had made out of flat fabric. So it was not well stuffed. Or at least by the time I got my idea and usage of it had got to that point where it was flattened. And it was grey coloured with some sort of uniform and grey legs and white feet. And I must have had it since I was a baby, but it only became liked really because of its comforting smell, which must have been a sort of combination of bits of sick and snot and other bodily functions, smells of saliva. And it was occasionally washed, and when it was washed that was a problem because it had a different smell then, and it was usually rejected at that point.
So you said you owned it since you were a baby. Do you know where it came from?
I've no idea. I suspect, because of its button type eyes, that someone made it. Although if they did, they were good because it was pretty well made. Yeah, I've no idea. I've never seen one. I've never seen the like of. Yeah.
So did you play with it?
No. Yeah, I think it stayed on my pillow. How would you? Yeah, I suppose if that is playing with it, it would be comforting at night, I would suspect. Yeah. I smelt it a lot. If that is playing, that is a kind of play that I recognise. Yeah.
So, how did you feel about it? How important was it?
Yeah, I suspect it's of fundamental importance for a period of time. And then, when I was about school age, I had another one that was in much better nick, was much more understandable. It was like a panda, a small panda, but it was the right sort of shape as we might imagine a teddy bear. I think what I'm thinking is that sort of Edwardian bears were much flatter. They were flattened type. The next one I had was more, and that had only symbolic purposes. It wasn't played with. It may have had darts thrown at it at some stage, and I was fed up with it. But that was it.
So do you still have either of them?
No.
Do you know what happened to them?
No idea. No, disintegrated. One of them would have disintegrated. Actually, the first one I had, my Auntie Jill, who was very good at sewing, used to make small clothing adjustments to it, now I remember, when it became threadbare.
So if you had a best memory of either of them, do you have a best memory of it, or just something that was there in your life?
I've just had that best memory of Auntie Jill making new clothing for it. She took the time to think, at Christmas probably, that's a bit threadbare. And so she made a new waistcoat or something, or patched up its really thin veneer. Yeah.
So did you play with any dolls?
Yeah, Action Men. Yeah, absolutely love them. Yeah. I bought a boot in to remind myself of that. So I had about 6 from about 1971 to about 1979. They were well, it was action stations for them really. Yeah, superb.
So thinking of your action men, can you describe them? How many you had, what you had?
Well, I think at its high point, I probably had 6, I would say, who had different names. all around sort of all sounding a bit like Ronald McDonald, but none of them were actually called that because McDonald's didn't exist in the UK at that point, so I had no notion. But they had those sort of rounded names that were understandable. But I can't. No, they were in a sort of pack. They were a group, like a commando unit. They were a very tight team. Yeah.
And how did you come to own them?
Just used to get them as Christmas and birthday. It was the optimum present, really, to get either Action Man uniforms or a new Action Man, and you could buy them in a different guise. So I can't actually remember which ones I had, but no, I really can't remember. They'd have been military types, but they used to come as in a uniform, or they could be a sort of sports, or they could be deep sea diver, so they come with a lot of equipment too. Well, they wouldn't come with it, you'd have to get it. But every Christmas on TV, or run up to Christmas, things were advertised on TV to chime with whatever new Action Man was out. And the major innovation was that you might have started off with ones with fixed position hands, and the right hand was in a trigger position, and the left hand was in a muzzle support position. But that was changed in the early 70s to gripping hands, so they were have more utility. That was quite an innovation.
And how did you play with them? What sorts of games?
Usually imaginary missions. Either in the winter it would be almost certainly inside, and in the summer they'd spend a lot of time in the backyard garden, buried. They'd have camps, or they'd be hidden, or they'd be fighting the next door neighbours. They'd be in a sort of team engaged in warfare with next door. So that was, yeah, they spent a lot of time outside getting very dirty with all their equipment.
And how did you feel about them?
Yeah, I loved them, yeah. In fact, getting rid of them was quite a wrench, and although I felt incredibly rich with the £5 that I probably got for them all, it really, it's a shame because a lot of things I haven't got rid of, but I did get rid of those. I spent it might have been £9, and I immediately bought a digital watch. So I'd moved on. So yeah.
So thinking about construction toys then.
Mm.
Did you play with any construction toys?
Yeah, I had some Lego. One of the first, we had some Lego because I had an older brother, so we had some leftover Lego. The good thing about Lego in those times was that it tended not to come in these sort of sets that were linked to films or other things that were going on. It wasn't heavily marketed, so it was a utility Lego. You could make anything from it, so it was only limited by your imagination, really. So I would build towers as high as they could go, to see if they could go to the ceiling, but they'd only go back a couple of feet probably. So that was my first go with Lego. But what I tended to use it was, along with, I bought another visual cue along with some bricks. I used to build sort of emplacements for either soldiers or action men to hide behind. So it was mainly for building battlements and stuff, or set designs. So after you built around a square and built a house or built a wall, then had to fill a purpose. It wasn't enough just to have that. So Lego, but mainly I got the benefit from bricks or other things that I found items to construct defences with. So yeah, that was my, I suppose, building all those sort of toys. Although lots of people had them, they weren't my main thing. They were a secondary item.
So any other types of construction toys, construction play even?
It wasn't really my thing, and I was given things like chemistry sets. Well, those are not really construction. I was given those sort of things, and I didn't overplay with them. They weren't my things. No, I had to use them as a secondary item. So I can't remember receiving anything else. I mean, unless you include Airfix models, as you do. Okay. Those, I did like those, so yeah, I did have quite a few of those that I used to make. And then smash up, so yeah. So I spent quite a bit of time in the late 70s making Airfix stuff, which I haven't got any left of. Yeah, all the standard ones that people made in those days. So that was a valuable toy. If I got that for Christmas, I would have then made that by January the 1st. I'd have made something by then. And then after January I started painting it. So yeah. So I was into painting, I was into that sort of construction, but it needed already to have a purpose, I think. Unless it was bricks and I used them organically. Yeah.
So what purpose did your Airfix models have? How did you then play with them?
Well, I think the best one that I had, I'm trying to think, but really and truly, the best one I had was the ruined fort. There was a sort of shelled out fort that you could buy where it had sort of wall constructions. It was pretty easy to put together, there wasn't a lot to it. But I certainly had 2 or 3 of those, maybe even 3. And that was ready made for your soldiers, your small size soldiers, to hide behind. So that was already in place. So once you'd made that, you could hide anyone behind that. And then if you had something like one of those dinky cannons, you could fire little shells at them. So that was good. That was always a good game. So that was probably the best thing I had. Airfix Fort, I'd say. Yeah.
Do you have any of them anymore?
No, they were just. It's a shame, but they were so well played with those. No, I haven't got anything like that. I've got other things. I have got soldiers. I've got things that are, I've got a lot of leftover. Well, not a lot. I've got some leftover soldiers.
Did you find Hot Wheels as a construction toy?
No, I didn't. I don't define. Well, it kind of is, yeah. But that was one of my favourites. Yeah, I've still got some Hot Wheels. I've got a little bit. Well, I've got a lot now because I've bought extra since. But yeah, I've got Hot Wheels. Brilliant. Yeah, used to make. That was again. The key to my toys were that they needed to perform a role in the summer outside, and the Hot Wheels track you could then build outside as long as you possibly could. So I used to make it really, really long from the lounge outside on the patio onto the grass. So it used to run quite a long time, and it was very good.
And would you say that was one of your favourite things?
I would say that, I would, because it was the gift that kept giving. It really, it had an organic nature to it, that you could build different size tracks. You could test how far the cars would go. You could number your cars and line them up. You could try and oil the wheel. You know, there were all sorts of things you could do to make that different. Just different lengths, different heights. Would it go downstairs? How would they stay on better? What sort of banking could you put? I mean, all sorts of things, really. Yeah, it was very effective.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I've got some, and I've added to it. Yeah. It didn't degrade too badly, even on very hard usage outside. It's still viable. Yeah, but there's a lot of it about, actually. It's still a lot.
So did you ever want a teddy bear, doll or construction toy that you couldn't have?
I don't think so. I think that was all. I could probably, but I think I had. you know, you could usually line it up at Christmas or birthday. You'd definitely get one of those things. Whether you got more, I don't know. You were tended to give, people didn't give you money in those days. I didn't really get money, so I had enough interest to get enough of those sort of things to keep me going. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think I wanted for any of those. Sometimes I thought my neighbours had more than I had, which was sort of disappointing, but that was it really.
So, are there any other memories of teddy bears, dolls, or construction toys or any other toys that you want to mention or talk about?
Well, my favourite thing was board games. My father introduced me to that as he was, and also toy soldiers, I suppose, because he was in the army. So played a big part of his early life. So it passed on. It readily passed on because he was still at the weekends wanting to play games. And he used to work in the civil service, and for some reason in those days, I'm sure it doesn't exist now, the civil service shop sold games, and I expect it was in London because that's where he worked. So he used to bring back games with a civil service price mark on of £1 or whatever they were, and we used to play them at the weekends. It was really. He used to bring them back in non-birthday, non-Christmas, non-birthday. So it was a real treat, and there were board games that he brought back from there that he and I, while he was alive, we played. But it did start with, he had a friend who had a bigger layout in his dining room with campaigns and stuff, and a particular set of rules that you could make military encounters happen. That was absolutely fascinating because it was on a much larger scale, and it was like a formula. There was a formula to it. And there was a book that went with it, so that was very, very exciting. And so we tried a few of those at home as well. Yeah, that was really good. So then I started a collection of board games, which I now have got as my massive collection. That is my major thing. And I used to play the neighbours, whoever really I could, 2-player or more. Played right through my teens, right into university, and just carry on. I haven't really had a moment off. So yeah, that was my thing. Well, this is one of those I'd say pre-1971 action men with the hands were in the fixed position. So he's got a rigid trigger finger and a rigid hand for holding the barrel. So I think in the early 70s they changed to having gripping hands, which then became a fantastic innovation, meaning you could hold multiple tools and all the fingers could articulate, and so could the thumb. The issue with that was that they broke. They became broken on the inside of the knuckles, and so fingers would fall off. Fortunately, in Brighton, in this very street here, there was the Dolls Hospital where you could get that problem rectified and a new pair of hands put in, so that your action man would work, would be mended. I think this chap is it looks like a German uniform from the Eagle there, but he's got the wrong type of boots on for a German infantryman, so I can't quite make that out. But I'd say he is sort of early 70s, particularly with those hands. But that hair came in at the end of the late 60s, the fuzzy hair, because that was like a hard, mid-60s, that was hard head. But that hair was an innovation as well. Good.
Thank you.